on a Friday. TGIF to all of you. We are almost, we are close to 4th of July, you guys.
Yeah.
It's vacation.
1 week from tomorrow.
Yeah, it's crazy. July is right around, we've gone through a half year like this, almost.
Oh, what a year it's been.
Yeah.
But who's counting?
What a great year. We are talking about vacations. We're talking about happy things today on this Friday because so many more Americans are jumping in the car to take shorter trip vacations with their family. They're renting RVs. RVs are huge now, even before this whole pandemic. Remember the Today Show was doing some stories on younger Americans, millennials loving RVs now again. And so we want to know, I want to know really what your worst ever road trip was, but you can share your best ones, I guess.
We're going to make this a personal edition of, my volume's still a little loud there, a personal edition of Sunrise Extra, because we've done this before and our viewers are always fantastic at sharing those personal stories with all the juicy details, please. I remember we did that segment a while back about worst dates you've ever had.
That's right.
And we couldn't believe the details that our viewers gave us. So again, share them this morning, and you can do it by way of the comments on Facebook, YouTube. We also have that text number. It's always up there during Sunrise Extra, 503-226-5088. And I have the text monitor here in front of me in the newsroom. So I will monitor your text, 503-226-5088. If you do text us, mention your name as well so I can read that aloud to the others.
An RV trip across the country is on my bucket list. I've never done like a huge road trip. The last time I really went cross country, I was in grad school. I went from Oregon down to LSU. But you know, it's kind of, we were on a mission, right?
Far.
I know it is, but we were on a mission. We didn't really stop and we were wanting to get there. I just want to see more of the country.
Yeah.
We drove to Montana a few years ago, like 2 summers ago, for the Grand Canyon, not the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone National. Where did I go?
That's where I've gone too.
Yellowstone, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't enjoy driving there. And I wasn't going to pay for flying there, so I don't know. I don't think we'll ever go back to Yellowstone just because I did not enjoy that drive at all.
But were you in an RV? I feel like that would make it way more fun.
It was in the SUV.
Well, yeah, not quite as big.
No.
That's my longest road trip too, was Yellowstone. It was, before we had a kid. And I was like, that's fine. I'm not big on like long road trips. I mean, we've driven down to, actually, I've driven to Mexico. That's probably further, but in Yellowstone. What's a funny one?
My wife just texted me. She said, well, essentially, you idiot. We flew to Montana. You're right, we did.
Keep them honest, Mia.
We flew into some part of Montana and then drove from the airport.
How did you forget something
I forgot because
like
it was a long drive from the airport to this house we stayed at just outside of Yellowstone.
And you thought it was multiple states. Okay.
Well, we drove to Idaho once. Oh my gosh. Friday mind.
Trade places with you. I'd like to have her in the box one morning.
I can mention Brittany. This story I know is true because it doesn't come from me. It comes from one of our viewers, right? They only speak the truth. Brittany Chapa says, my favorite recent trip was down to Long Beach, Washington. Down to? Are you living above? Maybe she lives above Longview. But she says,
take issue with the woman.
Sorry. My favorite recent trip was to, forget the direction, it was to Long Beach, Washington. I'm very blessed, she says, to have a boss who shares her beach house with me and my family. We've now made it our yearly tradition for our wedding anniversary and my puppy's birthday. I love taking dogs to the beach, by the way. Anyways, so far, no bad experiences on those trips. They are absolutely amazing every time. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing that one.
That's good. Do you remember any really awful road trips, Nina, with your family, maybe when you were little?
We didn't. I mean, we went to the coast and we went to Sun River, and we didn't really take road trips.
No, we didn't either.
So we moved up from California when I was in grade school. So for a time, we'd just drive back and forth to the LA area to see my relatives. And the worst vacation I remember, it wasn't bad when we got there, it was just getting there, because my dad was never a handy guy. He had a lot of really great qualities, but being handy was not one of them. So he put one of our suitcases on the top of the car. That's how we were traveling. And when we hit the 405 in LA, I don't know, what is that, 3 lanes of fast moving traffic, it flew off. It flew off in the middle of the freeway, and it hit the ground, and it busted open.
Oh my goodness.
And my dad pulls over. And I remember seeing his boxer shorts like a tumbleweed, like flying down the freeway. And Herm Braxton was having none of it. Dude got out of the car and started chasing down his clothes. My mom was having a conniption, and I was just in the back seat. My eyes were as big as saucers looking. But he got his stuff. I think they had some tire tracks on him by the time he retrieved them. Got in, and we went on our way. But I thought, that is absolutely freaking nuts.
That is a very good story.
Well, you know what? You just unveiled something there, because I've often been told that Herm Braxton was the best dressed man in McMinnville, and now we know the best dressed man in McMinnville
Boxers.
went with boxers.
Boxers,
not the
There you
briefs.
go, boxers or briefs. It was definitely boxers.
That's pretty good. That's lucky that nothing,
Right?
really bad happened. That is so old school, though. It's like putting the luggage,
Right.
the hard case, with the handle
Yes.
luggage, like on the roof rack.
There is another comment here from a viewer, but I will share, there is a difference that I've learned I'll be here 20 years in October, 20 years in Oregon this October. Spent 24 years growing up in Philadelphia. We thought a road trip was like an hour. Honestly, like it was a big deal to get into the car, pack it up, and drive to the Jersey Shore, which was, it could be as quick as an hour depending on where you're going, or 90 minutes. And that was a big deal. I got here, and I remember the first time I realized, like, wow, you guys are different. Someone said, oh, I'm going to drive up to Seattle for the Mariners game. And I'm thinking, you're going to go the night before or stay the night, whatever, and then they're going to drive
3
back
hours.
that day?
Yeah.
I go, wait a minute, you're driving to Seattle 3 hours, watching a baseball game, and coming back the same day 3 hours? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
I grew up 2 hours from New York. We never went. We never went to New York City, and I was 2 hours away.
Really?
Yes. I went there finally when I was 19 on my own, but we never went as a family.
You wimpy Philly people.
We just loved our city so much we never wanted to leave.
Rob St. Helen
go
says,
ahead.
I miss our RV. Man, a lot of great memories. Well, Dish, tell us. Give us some of those.
Dawn Kimlinger, and I always want to make sure I say that right, and she's corrected me one time. I believe it's the soft, the last name.
I mean, I think they're all Dons.
I'm talking about Kimlinger. It's a soft G at the end, not the hard G. It's not Kimlinger, it's Kimlinger. 1992, she says. Dawn, D-A-W-N. 1992 from Frederick, Maryland to San Antonio, Texas. That's a hike. She says she went with a friend who was going to graduate school in Texas, spent the week there, great time, great food in the San Antonio restaurants. Thank you for showing that, Dawn, D-A-W-N.
I would really like to see, I did think once we actually got to Yellowstone, and it was like an okay drive. It was fun. We, went through Montana and saw like some old western towns and went to some funky old antique stores along the way. I just get, restless sitting in the car for so long, and I'm not driving usually. But Yellowstone was awesome. Loved driving through that, seeing all the animals. I would think it's cool to go see Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
Just to see how really big it is. And I would like to see the Grand Canyon. Everything else, I don't really.
Not so much.
Fine.
Yellowstone is a sore spot in our house because that was the trip Mia always wanted to make that she never got to do as a kid. So she was so looking forward to this for years. Bringing the boys. We actually had 2 other families from our baseball community were there at the same time as well. So a big deal. And I wasn't in love with the experience. I found it very.
Did you guys camp like in a tent?
No, we had a house outside of Yellowstone, but just the Yellowstone experience. I was like, oh, we're getting in the car again today, and we're driving through the park again today. Didn't we do that yesterday and the day before that?
Yeah.
It's kind of,
It was fun. We actually tent camped in Yellowstone.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And so you see, we came out of the tent one day and there was like a big pile of bear poo-poo right outside the tent. And so then you're like, oh, it walked right past us. And so that was cool, being in the park where you could walk around and, go to the little gift shop and cook out. And that was fun.
I'm telling you, I was a grown woman before I ever went out and got into a tent, because my dad did not camp, and my mom grew up that way, but I guess he kind of set the tone. His idea of camping was a 3-star hotel. He just did not like roughing it.
Yeah.
He used to tell me, what do you need, outdoor clothes? Braxton's, what did he say? Braxton's have the good sense to come in from outside when it gets too cold.
I like that.
Whatever it is. But
I now know I share 2 things in common with your dad. I also do not like to rough it, and I also wear the boxers.
well, thank you for sharing, Drew. I feel closer to you already.
Herm Braxton and I like 2 peas in a pod. This is a great story as far as bad road trips go. Oh man, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, I'll find it. Jennifer Taft, I know, shared it. Jennifer has been a great contributor to our Sunrise stream, and here she is. Jennifer Taft, good morning. Worst vacation ever, she says. My father, first, took me to a drive-in to see Jaws when I was like 7 years old.
Oh,
Cool.
jeez.
Bad parenting idea. 1 week later, her grandparents took her to Cape Cod, and they couldn't figure out why she would not go into the ocean.
Oh,
Duh.
dang. Yeah.
That was a scary
Cape
movie.
Cod.
That totally changed my beach habits after I saw that. I think I was 12.
Brenda, I think you're with me. I think Nina can keep her bear poop in Yellowstone, right? You would prefer, like I would, the ocean, maybe like off a Hawaii beach somewhere?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
tent camp anymore.
Yeah.
I've got a hard line on no tent camp.
You know what? Camping is fun, but it's a lot of work. I was fortunate enough to have friends who camped, and they'd go and set up and do all the hard stuff because they had the
Just show
gear.
up.
So I just drive down, to Southern Oregon or wherever it was after work on a Friday, and we were ready for Spanish coffees or whatever they were drinking that night. It was fun, but it is a lot of work. I'm like,
It
is this
really
what
is.
you guys do for the entire week?
Yeah.
The kids are having a great time, but you're working your butt off.
This is this is an awful story, but I'll share it because Nicole shared it with us. So I'll voice it
Oh,
out loud
good.
for
Okay.
you, Nicole.
Okay.
Nicole Pratt went to California for a vacation, Nicole says, with my boyfriend's family at 16 years of age. On our way home, we had a major car accident. 4 kids in the car, 1 mom. We had to wait for my parents, she says, to drive to California to pick us all up because the mom was seriously injured and had to be ambulanced out.
Oh no,
a terrible
that is
ending.
truly the worst story. I didn't mean those kind of stories.
Can you chime back in, Nicole, with some sort of happy silver lining to that story,
Is everything
please?
okay now? That is scary. No kidding. You never want to be hurt or anything bad happen while you're on a trip because, yeah, you're just away from home.
So Rob St. Helen did weigh in. I said,
Oh,
give
good,
us
yeah.
details. He said, we traveled everywhere in that RV, across America, up and down. In fact, took a California trip in it and was at the Oakland A's game when Ricky Henderson stole second base for the record of most stolen bases.
Wow.
Every 4th of July, we would stay at Sea and Sand RV site, then early morning moved to Side off the road at Lincoln City, waiting for the 4th of July show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love those
Was
kind
that
of
Rob
memories.
St. Helen you said?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I don't mean to sound like a baseball geek here, and I could be wrong, but when I picture Ricky Henderson stealing that base, and I remember that, he broke the record for all-time steals, I swear to you, I pictured him stealing third base. So I'm going to look that up now, Rob. Now you've got my baseball mind to thinking.
It's so funny because you went right there and I went, who?
Ricky Henderson? Really? He's one of the all-time greats. Okay.
Did you know Nina?
No.
You never heard of him. Neither of you heard of Ricky Henderson. He actually played with the, remember the Portland Beavers had a AAA team here? And Ricky Henderson was on a rehab assignment trying to get back to the majors like when he was
Is that
40
the one
years
that
old.
Kurt Russell's dad coached?
I don't know
There's a
about that.
whole documentary on it.
There's a funny Ricky Henderson story, but I guess I won't share it now. It's off topic.
Yes, please don't digress.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's a funny one. I'll tell you off the show because it's just it's a funny human story that involves Ricky Henderson.
Okay. We'll see.
Go ahead. Do
As
what
you're
you want. It's the stream.
Now, as you're looking up other viewer comments, I will share it to the two of you because I don't think I told you. My first full-time TV job was in Texas, small market Texas, right? I went Wichita Falls to Abilene. But to get there, I was still living in Philadelphia at the time. I drove myself from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Texas. It was about an 1,800-mile road trip, all alone. It was 1998. I was driving my 1985 Toyota Corolla, and that guy broke down in Joplin, Missouri. So what do you think of when you think of Joplin, Missouri, Nina or Brenda? Anything? They had a huge tornado there maybe 2 years later. It was kind of a big national story. One of the worst tornadoes in our country's history in Joplin, Missouri. But I experienced Joplin 2 years prior to that. My car broke down. It's a terrible experience when you're in your early 20s to be that far from home
you're
by
stuck.
yourself with a broken down car. But
And you were also not handy, right? You're not mechanical.
No, I mean, that was steam coming out of the hood. I
A
just
good
said,
point to make, Brenda.
I got to get this to a mechanic. And a mechanic I found.
You are also not handy.
Well, you were always
what the hell
talking
did that have
about
to do with
Mia
the
being
story?
super handy and doing all that for you.
Mia wasn't going to fix that car, Brenda, okay? That car was beyond
probably can.
Mia's repair.
I bet you she could.
No, we're going to be renting an RV here really soon. It'll be our second time. 2 years ago, we borrowed a friend's RV to go over to Pacific City. We have a big group of friends that go over there and go surfing and spend a week over there. And then the year before that, before kids, we rented an RV and went all down the Oregon coast to like the redwood forest in Northern California, which is incredible. That is really cool to see. I mean, just the size of the trees are really, really neat. And it was cool to go in an RV, and we took our cat along on his leash, and we took him for walks on the sand and through the forest, and that's the ding-a-ling things you do before you have a child. So I'm excited to rent our RV. There's a cool site, if you guys haven't heard, it's called rvshare.com. And it's like Airbnb, but for RVs and campers. So you can rent straight from an owner an RV or...
So can you give me, because I'm going to pick your brain after this, because I really do want to take an RV trip at some point. How expensive are they to rent versus, I guess, staying somewhere?
So it depends on, like, if you need the one that drives, that's called a motorhome. Those are the most expensive because they just have, you know, the engine and all that, all those bigger parts. I am a girl, and so I apologize to all girls who know more automotive stuff. It has more things available for it, and you got to pay for the gas on it.
Okay.
If you have a truck or some kind of SUV where you can pull one, that's called a camper, I believe.
Well, there's a couple of RVs that you can pull.
Those are cheaper. So the one we got is a pull behind because my husband has a truck, and so those are a lot cheaper. They were like $90 a night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can pull a camper, you can pull a fifth wheel. There's a few RVs that you can pull.
And yeah, this is the rvshare.com website. You can type in whatever city, and there's some great ones. I mean, it's all budgets, you know, older ones, brand new ones, things, you know, fully stocked. A lot of these ones have, you know, like outdoor kitchens, little outdoor sinks you can pull out, and a little outdoor grill that pulls out from the RV. A lot of them like include camp chairs and all that kind of stuff. I sound like I know what I'm talking about almost.
Yes, you do, a little bit.
Yeah.
Trips, I think you do. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
We gave one of our viewers an assignment, and that viewer has delivered, so I will share this with you. Have you noticed, though, by the way, behind the scenes talk now, Brenda, Nina, we have Byron, our director, directing today's Sunrise Extra.
Yeah.
He threw up a clock. I've never seen this before on Sunrise Extra. He's given us a countdown clock of 5.
Well, for once, he's on top of it.
Well, no, you know what, Byron? This Sunrise Extra stream will end when we say it ends. We're going to keep going here because we're having fun with the viewers right now.
He's just letting us know when Brenda has to go on the Today Show. It's
Julie
okay.
Wyatt says motorhomes are usually $250 per day to rent, but I guess, you know, that's like a hotel.
That's not how much we paid. For the driving ones, we probably paid like maybe $130.
Okay.
You're back to sounding like you don't know what you're talking about.
I remember. That's the one that we got. But there's also there's a place in Gladstone, if you're in the Portland area, that we rented one from before. Those are more expensive, it seems like,
Be Young
than like
RV?
the RVshare.com. No, it's like a rental joint.
Okay. Be Young RV is out there like Milwaukee, Gladstone area.
Yeah.
Hey, Nicole Vector Pratt, she's the woman who shared the story of when she was 16 driving to California with her boyfriend, and they got in a bad accident coming back, and the mother of the boyfriend was seriously hurt. She says that we were put in a hotel room, they got free food, so I guess that's the silver lining. We were hoping for an update on the mom, to be honest with you, Nicole. Then she says she's still in contact with the ex, ... Did I mention I got pregnant on that trip, LOL.
That's the yada, yada, yada part.
There you go. Thank you, Nicole, giving us more
Yada,
information
yada, yada.
than we were
I
looking
got
for.
pregnant. That
funny.
sounds like a crazy trip, yes.
Still in touch with the ex.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, that's good.
That's the kind of good gossip I love that people are sharing. I love it. On Twitter, You've Got to Be Kidding is their handle. It's a good one. My grandparents drove my sister and I to Fresno, and we got an exhaust leak and got carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, dear
Hey!
Lord. Oh, no.
Man.
Lindsay Brewer. Good morning to you, Lindsay Brewer. Just chiming in on the stream here on Facebook that I'm watching. She says, we bought a camper in May, have already taken it on 3 trips. They have 4 more planned for this summer. She says, best quarantine purchase ever.
That's awesome. And Jennifer says, I want to rent a VW bus, like an old school.
That would be fun.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that when things get back to normal. We'll have a sunrise
Like
bus.
cram all the Sunrise team.
Yeah, and we'll go on a road trip
We'll make
and come
Drew
see
set up
you
the
guys.
tent.
Speaking of that, I heard when Rodney, our friend, returns from his vacation next week, instead of going back to his own home studio, I heard a rumor, Nina, that he's house sitting for you and he'll be broadcasting from the Melhoff house. Is there any
It'll
truth to
probably
that?
say that on the graphic. We've all been like...
Accidentally?
It said I was in your house one time.
Yep, I was in Rod's house one time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get our graphics correct.
Yay, Jeremy Huffman going to the beach for 3 days in July. Hopefully all goes well. We've got your fingers crossed for you, Jeremy. Love that. Yeah. Well, good. You guys are getting out and enjoying our beautiful weather. It's going to be like 85 degrees today, a little cooler this weekend, and then boy, 4th of July is like upon us.
I know.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on a Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Baseball story time. Come on, guys. Come join me. Time to talk baseball.
No!